Hi, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. Please consider joining this community by subscribing. This week's topic, we continue our discussion on the 3 components for dealing with bipolar that give you a Ducky life. Last week, I introduced the 3 components and what I feel these components are. This week, I want to take a deeper dive into the 3 components. I am not a mental health professional in any way. I am a fellow bipolar sufferer. Part 1. Treatment. I am not a doctor. I am not a psychiatrist. All that I can relay to you in the area of treatment is what I have learned. Bipolar disorder must be treated in some way. There are actually 2 parts to the treatment of bipolar disorder. The first part is medication. There are also natural means of treating bipolar disorder, and in later videos I will get more into those. When we are initially diagnosed, we are part of the medical system, and therefore we are prescribed pharmaceutical medications. That's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. But you have to understand that 1, it takes a while for these medications to work, sometimes up to 2 or 3 months before you can really tell if they're working or not. And 2, sometimes just finding a medication that works for you can be its own struggle. In my case, it was over 2 years before I found a medication that worked for me. Most psychiatrists and psychologists are willing to work with you to find a medication that does what it's supposed to do, which is stabilize your mind and your moods. Currently, there are over 50 medications in 6 different categories that are recommended for the treatment of bipolar disorder. In most cases, there is something out there that will work for you. There are a small percentage of people, 3 to 5%, that really can't take pharmaceutical medications, and they have to find other ways of treating their bipolar disorder. But left untreated, bipolar disorder will just destroy your life. How do you know a medication is working for you? The best answer I've ever heard is that you feel like you. You don't feel like a zombie, you don't feel nauseous, you don't feel out of sorts. You just feel like you. But medications will not fix you. It just gives you a stable platform on which to fix yourself. The second part of treatment is therapy. Therapy is very important and really serves 2 purposes. The first one is to challenge our thinking and dig out the false beliefs that bipolar disorder seems to hardwire into our subconscious. The second part of therapy is to deal with the trauma we have suffered. Trauma work is incredibly important in dealing with bipolar disorder. There are 7 types of therapy recommended for the treatment of bipolar disorder. These are psychotherapy, which is a new name for talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, family-focused therapy, interpersonal and social rhythm therapy, group psychoeducation, which is a fancy name for group therapy, EDMR, which is eye movement densitization and reprocessing therapy. As important as the type of therapy that you're taking, and maybe even more important, is the therapist you're taking your therapy from. Therapy is a relationship, one person to another, and you have to have a therapist that you can work with. But there is more than just taking pills and seeing a therapist. Part 2. Management. The treatment of your bipolar disorder is done by medical professionals. They prescribe the meds. They direct the therapy. Bipolar management is entirely up to you. What is bipolar management? It is the application of the habits, the skills, the tools, and the techniques that keep your bipolar symptoms at bay. Medication and therapy alone will not do that. Bipolar management is the application of all those things. It is the doing of them. Since none of us know how to do any of those things when we're initially diagnosed, that's where the next component comes in. Part 3, personal development. The psychological definition of personal development involves the enhancement and growth of all aspects of the person. I define personal development as learning. One simple word, learning. Learning to be that mentally well person we've always wanted to be. Learning the habits, the skills, the tools, the techniques that keep our bipolar symptoms at bay. That is personal development. And that is what 365 Days of Bipolar.com is all about. To encourage you, to provide information, to help you find that Ducky life. That life that proceeds eminently well. Let me know in the comments below about your journey dealing with your bipolar. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.